Bravo.
Thank you.
This is amazing.
Welcome back to Paul and Benny. I'm Paul. Benny's behind the camera, and today we're making this decadent, beautiful peanut butter cheesecake. It's got a really simple chocolate ganache, a few chopped peanuts on top. Probably the easiest cheesecake I've ever made. Just starting off with the traditional graham cracker crust. So I'm crushing up my graham crackers. Those of you that have watched me before know I don't like the super fine crumbs and the pre-made ones. And all the exact measurements are in the description below this video. To my crumbs, I'm adding some sugar and some salt and giving a good mix together before I add my butter to the mixture. Once I add the butter, I want to be sure to mix this up really well. I want to try to coat each crumb of graham cracker with a little bit of butter. And there's not a ton of butter in here, so we're going to mix really, really well. Now we'll pack our crumb mixture into our springform pan as level as possible. Once we feel like it's as even as we want it, then we can go in with our fingers or maybe a measuring cup. We really want to pack these crumbs in here firmly so when we cut it, we have a nice firm cookie crust that holds together, not, one that's crumbly and falls apart. Once we're satisfied with our crust, we're going to go ahead and pop it in the oven at 350 degrees for about 10 minutes. In my bowl, I've got 3 softened, very softened bricks of cream cheese. I like to say they're as soft as toothpaste. You should be able to squeeze it right out of the package like this. I'm beating my cream cheese just until it's smooth. I heard recently that overbeating your cheesecake mix leaves that tall ridge on the sides, sort of with a valley in the middle, and I want to avoid that. So I'm trying to mix them less, and it seems to be working out great. At this point, I'm adding my sugar. I'm going to add a good, generous teaspoon, I'd say a teaspoon and a half of vanilla and our salt. Then we're going to give this another quick mix just to make sure the sugar is completely combined with the cheese mixture. I'm cracking my eggs one at a time into a bowl here just to make sure they're all perfectly pristine. And I'm going to mix them in to my batter, again, avoiding the urge to whip that batter till it's real thick and fluffy like I want to. Just going to mix them until they're combined. This is probably also a good time to mention that it really helps if your eggs are room temperature. We took time to make sure the cream cheese was soft and pliable. We don't want to thicken it back up with ice cold eggs right out of the fridge. Let them come up to temperature. If you need to run them under some warm water for just a moment, that's fine too. But they work best when they're not cold. Of course, we want to scrape the sides and the bottom of our bowl to be sure everything's getting incorporated completely and give it another mix. In goes our flour, and you'll notice here I'm not even turning on the mixer right away. I just want to take the beaters and give it a good stir and get it well incorporated. Again, I'm really trying not to mix it too much, and then I'll add in the milk. Once we've added these ingredients, be sure to scrape down the bottom and the sides of the bowl again. I'm reserving about 2 cups of our cheesecake batter into a separate bowl. You don't have to. It's just me doing too much because I think it's going to make it look nicer at the end. And here is the star of our show, what's making it a peanut butter cheesecake. This is a peanut butter powder. Benny gets it at Costco, and he uses it for smoothies and oatmeal, things like that. But it's really great in baked goods. It's got way less fat, and it's pretty much just the protein and a little bit of the carbs from the peanuts. It mixes in pretty well, but even after I mix it with the beater, I do like to take my spatula and give it a good press to make sure there's no chunks of powder in there. I used a half cup of the peanut butter powder. I didn't want it overpowering. I just wanted good peanut flavor, and it was the perfect amount. I know somebody's probably wondering, well, can I just use regular peanut butter? I don't know because I've never made it with peanut butter. I didn't want to add too much oil to this or give it a greasy texture. I thought about doing a ribbon of peanut butter in it, but I haven't tried that yet. So if you have, or if you do, please let me know. I'd love to know. I think it would be delicious. And in goes our peanut butter cream cheese, I'm sorry, cheesecake batter into our crust. At this point, we've already tasted it, and it is so good. It's rich and decadent and creamy, and I don't know. I don't love, I told you, like peanut butter shakes or peanut butter ice cream or anything, but it's got such a light, beautiful, sweet flavor. Now I'm adding in just my regular vanilla cheesecake batter here. And because I like to make a swirl, I think it makes for a more interesting presentation. And I feel like if the peanut butter is going to be overpowering, at least gives you a little reprieve when you get a bite that's just classic cheesecake flavor. But we'll see. I'm using my trusty chopstick to give the layers a quick swirl here. Don't want to mix them together. I just want to create a little swirl of the two. And we'll top it off with the remaining peanut butter batter. Probably only about a quarter cup here. It's enough just so you can see that there's peanut butter on top. I was quite excited about the peanut butter swirl effect this would make, but once it baked, you'll see it really didn't show up very well. Some flavors do, but this one, the colors were really close to each other. So when they baked and got brown, I mean, it was pretty, but there was no swirl. You can see there's a pan of hot water already in the oven, and I'm going to bake this at 340 degrees for 50 minutes, and then I'm going to turn the oven off and let it sit in the hot oven for another hour. This came out so pretty, and you can see the swirl a little bit, but now it's got to sit here and it's got to cool for about 3 hours. I'm very satisfied with the way this came out. You can see there are no really high ridges on the side with that deep flat valley in the middle. I mean, it's raised a little on the edges, but nothing crazy. But look at that shiny, glossy edge there. It almost looks like chocolate. I love the way this looks. You could eat this cake just how it is, or maybe chill it and serve it with a little fresh whipped cream. But I'm going to make this chocolate ganache. It's really simple, just chopping up a chocolate bar here. And I'm actually going to add in a few chocolate chips because this is milk chocolate. I want to darken it a little bit. And I'm going to pour some heavy cream over it and let it sit and melt for a few minutes. I heated this ramekin in the microwave for about 45 seconds. You really don't need super hot cream to melt chocolate. 100 degrees is going to melt it beautifully. But I would only microwave the cream. I wouldn't microwave the chocolate because once it's burnt, if it seizes up, it's wrecked and you have to start over. So it's easier just heat the cream up, see a few bubbles, pull it out, and you're good. Then you just let it sit here. After a minute or so, you can start stirring and it'll look a mess. You see me make ganache in other videos probably. It'll look like it's just no good. And then you just keep stirring and stirring, knowing that if you keep stirring long enough, it's going to come together and it's going to be beautiful. And look, right before your very eyes, this is what? Look at it, glossy, shiny, beautiful chocolate. I love how this happens. I'm going to keep stirring for probably another minute or two because I want it to cool down. I want to be able to use it quickly because it's late at night and we're ready to eat it. So the more I stir it, the more it's going to cool. If you want to save the leftover, you can put it in the fridge, reheat it tomorrow, or best of all, you could whip it tomorrow, which is so delicious, whipped ganache. And you could put it on any and everything. But look at this. Every time this happens, I love it. And as it cools, it's going to get a little thicker. I should let it cool a little more before I used it, but we were ready to eat.
Oh, that's a good slice.
It's at this point that I realized, well, I don't like peanut butter desserts. I don't like peanut butter cake or pie or cookie that much. I love this dessert. I love this peanut butter cheesecake. It is just so pretty to look at. And then with the chocolate on it, it's totally changing my mind. Chopped a few roasted peanuts here, and we're going to put them on top and call this dessert complete. All right, here I go. First bite. Benny's giving me the Ben gave me the go ahead to try his peanut butter cheesecake first. Got some chocolate on there. Here I go. That's pretty good. Let me try one more just to be sure. A little ganache. I don't do peanut butter cakes, pies, shakes, cookies. This, it's not bad, guys. It's rich, but you still get the tart of the cheesecake. Total peanut butter flavor, but maybe it's the chocolate helping it. I love this. Now we're gonna let the peanut butter expert give it a try.
If you made it this far in the video, go ahead and hit the like button for us. We would greatly appreciate it. And don't forget to share this with somebody who loves peanut butter and chocolate and cheesecake. Hit the share button, send it in text message. They're gonna love that little treat you send them in the messages. Now onto the review. I am ready to try this. As he's made this, like the peanut butter smelled delicious. I tasted some of the cheesecake, like the cheesecake batter. It was so good. So all of it together, let's give it a try.
He's like the peanut butter fanatic.
I do love all things peanut butter and chocolate, and this is both with peanuts and a chocolate ganache. So here we go.
No pressure to say it's good.
Mmm.
Be honest.
Mmm. Mmm. So normally we wait for the cheesecakes to cool down in the fridge and then like doctor them up, make them look pretty. Not this time. We're like, let's just go ahead and go for it. This tastes so good, freshly made. The crust is delicious. The peanuts are a nice added crunch. Sometimes desserts, when they're peanut butter, can be like, I need like milk. Milk would be nice with this, but this isn't gonna coat your mouth too much. I really do believe it was that peanut butter powder that Paul wasn't a fan of before.
Wasn't.
But in cheesecake form, it's delicious. Bravo.
Thank you.
This is amazing. As always,
I'm Paul.
I'm Benny.
We're grateful for all kinds of cheesecake, especially peanut butter with chocolate.
And we're grateful for you watching.